Hello, this is Cityscape, a regular vodcast featuring people, places, and ideas that impact our community. I'm Dan West with the Livonia Westland Chamber of Commerce. A significant event was held this month that marked the beginning of redevelopment coming to the Livonia Civic Center campus and the Kirksey Recreation Center. Today we'll learn more about these projects. A gathering of Livonia officials and other supporters gathered on June 17th for the formal groundbreaking for a 30,000 square foot Livonia Senior Wellness Center and upgrades to the Kirksey Community Recreation Center. This $26.9 million project received almost $21 million in grants from federal, state, and county sources. The new senior facility is expected to be completed in the summer of 2025. This project is known as Project Catalyst, as it is igniting a series of redevelopments to city facilities and properties in the year ahead. And here to talk about the Senior Wellness Center and the other projects coming up down the line is Livonia Mayor Maureen Miller-Brosnan. Mayor, thank you for your time today.
Good to be here, Dan. Thank you for spending time with us.
So, you've been busy lately. You had a little event this week,
Yeah.
But the $26.9 million investment to the rec center includes the senior center, but there also involves some other projects for the rec center. Can you talk about what's in line for the rec center?
Yeah. So, part of what we wanted to make sure to do is that if we were going to add the senior center onto the rec center, that everything kind of got leveled up. And so we're going to see some improvements to the West Gym. You'll see the entrance to the rec center improved. The whole area where the reception desk is going to be moved more toward the middle of the entry point. It'll create better ingress and egress coming in and out of the building. There'll be a little bit more security coming in and out of the building as a result of all of that. You'll see new carpet, new paint. Exercise equipment will be moved throughout the facility to create better use of the space, especially the upper level of the rec center. So there's going to be a lot more access for people. And we're doing this really with a deep understanding that as soon as we attach the Senior Wellness Center to the rec center, the number of people using the rec center facilities are going to increase as well. Obviously, that center was designed to serve more people, to build capacity, and so we're going to be adding that capacity by connecting it to the wellness center.
What some people might be amazed, the rec center is 21 years old.
I know.
You were on city council when that was approved. It's got to blow your mind that it's been 21 years.
Yeah.
The building looks fine, but it has been 21 years. And I know even before the Senior Wellness Center came up, there was discussion of making improvements to the rec center. So this all came together.
And that's a good point, is that there were 3 different variations of plans to upgrade the rec center without consideration for the wellness center. So we were able to, again, just kind of pull a plan off the shelf that was already vetted, that council had already had a chance to take a look at, and we knew that it would work. So this is a chance to level everything up.
I think it's important for people to realize that the rec center will be open throughout the entire construction process. Parts of it will be limited or off limits, but people will be able to get their workouts and stuff throughout the entire process.
Exactly. So we do want people to make sure that they touch base and find out when certain areas may be closed down, but the goal is to never close the whole center down. Different spots, you'll have less access to, so recreating the rec is what we're calling it, but if you go to www.livonia.gov, you'll be able to click on a page there that tells you exactly what's happening in the rec center when it's happening.
So, you talked at the event this week about how this is the first step in a series of projects coming to city facilities coming up. The next one being plans to construct a new city hall. It was approximately $36 million project, and but you were able to find the money without seeking new millage or new tax from taxpayers at this time. I guess talk about how you're able to make that happen and what are the next steps for getting the City Hall project going.
Well, it actually stems from some really good fiscal decisions that we made a couple years ago. We moved our retirees 65 and over to a Medicare Advantage Plus program. And this is a program that streamlines their medical care a lot. People love it, so it's had a good win-win. We understood that there would be some cost savings to the city. We did not know how much. So recently, the actuaries came back. They have to analyze this on an 18-month basis. You take a look at how it's performed over the course of 18 months, and the report came in April, just recently, that we are on course to save about $2.4 million a year. That is enough to secure a mortgage, for example, on a city hall, to go out and bond for a city hall using that savings as debt service. So the important part, though, is that this is not about necessarily building a new city hall. We all understand that the current city hall that we all exist in it's reached the end of its useful life, but more importantly, it's taking that opportunity to clear space at the corner of 5 Mile and Farmington to build for Livonia the downtown, the town center that it has talked about wanting for well over 30 years now. That is exactly what we found out when we went and started studying back in 2017. You may recall we started asking Livonia residents, what do you want to see happen in your community? And they said, you know what, we want to make sure our kids are coming back here. And for some reason, they're not. We see a growing senior population, which is awesome, but we also need to balance it out with new families. A great way to make new families part of your community is to make sure that you've got affordable housing for them, ways for people to enter, find those entry points to your community. So we have a chance to do that right here on our very own Civic Center campus with 27 acres of property that we understand that we can clear out if we rebuild City Hall, if we rebuild the police station, and we locate them further east on the property, closer to the courthouse in the case of the police station, and closer to the library in the case of City Hall, creating more of a town center area there. You put a large park space in, you use the woods to your advantage, and suddenly you begin to find an area that people want to congregate in, they want to come to. So you use the additional 27 acres for multifamily residential homes, apartments, townhouses, condos, some retail, some restaurant, maybe some office space. You make sure it's bikeable and walkable, and everything leads to that central gathering area. And we're then able to connect all of the amenities that we have at Ford Field, Silver Village, all the way down now to the Senior Wellness Center, to the Rec Center. And we begin to really see Livonia transform itself and provide for this community something that will be one of the biggest economic drivers this city has seen since we built the industrial corridor back in the 1950s. So it's more about the potential that gets created by moving City Hall than the actual building of City Hall.
Going back to the City Hall project for a minute, how big will the proposed new City Hall be, and where would it be built at?
So, like I said, we don't have a site plan yet. That is the next phase. Now that we've discovered that we have the money to do this, that was the first question we had to answer. Can we afford to do it? Yes, we can afford to do it. Now we're going to take a look at where. So very soon the council is going to be getting a proposal to hire a contractor to come in and help us to do some site planning so that we'll be able to share with the community exactly where these amenities fit on a different Civic Center campus. And in terms of size, we don't know how big it will be, but we do know that it will be smaller than the space that we're in. We've spent the past roughly 2.5 years doing a facility management study of all of the buildings here on the Civic Center campus. And what we learned is that in this building, we probably only need about 2/3 of the space that we have now. The world of work operates very differently than it did when this building was built in 1950. And there is a lot of consolidation that can be done.
And even the new part of City Hall goes back 45 years.
Yeah,
newer,
exactly.
if you will. But obviously there's been a lot of changes with technology and efficiencies and what is needed, so you don't need as much space for new City Hall.
And just simply the change in the number of employees. At its peak, Livonia had over 825 employees. We're down to 615 employees now. So we're a smaller city than we were when this building was built.
I know it's years down the line, but going back to the city center or downtown or whatever the word's coming up, it's 27 acres you're looking at when you're able to build a new City Hall, new police department, do other renovations to other city buildings. What are developers telling to you? How excited are they about building this project?
Yeah, so we've had a chance to talk to a number of developers long before we set our sights on doing this. And what we're learning is that this is one of the most heavily trafficked intersections in the city. We simply, by virtue of the work that we're doing here, either at City Hall or the people we attract to the library or the people that have to stop by the fire station or police station, we are one of the top trafficked intersections. So that becomes very appealing. to retail operators, to restaurant operators, to anybody in the commercial industry. They want to be able to do that. It also becomes a really attractive factor for people looking to build housing because they want people to build in a denser area where there is more energy, there is more activity going on. So those kinds of amenities, not to mention the fact that putting residential here puts you immediately close to I-96, expressway access, puts you close to Trinity Health, Livonia Hospital, Schoolcraft College, Madonna University. I mean, you're at the center of it all when you're here. So it becomes one of the most viable places to build housing at in the city.
You're in your 5th year as mayor, and you've been talking about various projects for like revolutionize Livonia City services and the campus and stuff like that. Now that you're able to have your first formal celebration of progress with the groundbreaking, how did you feel that you're able to hold that event?
It is exciting, and let me tell you the people that it's most exciting for. I think it was most exciting for the people sitting on the stage that helped us to pull together the funds from the federal government, from the state government, from the county government. You know, let's remember the first piece of this project, the development of the Senior Wellness Center, you know, raising over $22 million, not using taxpayer money, additional taxpayer money in order to build that. We didn't have to ask taxpayers for a millage to build that. That all came because federal, state, and county leaders believed that if they came together, if they collaborated on this, that this really would be the linchpin necessary to transform an entire community. Very seldom do governmental entities get to contribute to an effort at that level that does something so transformative. This is one of the single biggest transformation projects going on in the state of Michigan. And yesterday for them, putting that shovel in the ground meant this is really going to happen. And that feels good.
And there are a couple hundred people there to also celebrate with all of you as well. So,
yeah.
Well, Mayor, congratulations on the progress with all this that you've worked, I know, several years and a lot of conversations on, and I'm sure it was a proud moment for you. And thank you again for the time today.
Thanks, Dan. We're not done yet, though. We got a ways to go. So you and I will be back talking.
I said we'll be having more conversations, I'm sure. So
thank you.
So that's all the time we have for this edition of Cityscape. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.